Greetings everyone. I am Dr. Omkar Sangita Dilipra Sonomne from Team AFMG, and today we are glad with us that we have Dr. Siddesh Kumar, who have successfully cleared his FMG exam this time in the December 2021 session. I would first of all like to wholeheartedly congratulate Dr. Siddesh on his immense success in this attempt, and today we will be seeking answers to our questions that usually students have or the aspirants have before beginning their preparations. So first of all, Dr. Sadesh, congratulations once again. And I would like to know, how do you feel after just crossing the mark and being on the other side of the fence?
Thank you so much, sir, for your warm words. Firstly, though, it feels really good. So now, for the first 2 days, I was over the moon. So now, since the past 2 days, I'm back down. Now trying to seek out for further, what to do next. So yeah. So now everything is normal. But then, yeah, I was very happy 2-3 days ago.
Great, great. You should enjoy the euphoria. So now I would first of all like you to introduce you to our audience. Please introduce yourself with mentioning the name of your university from where you did your MBBS from.
Okay. So then I'm finally Dr. Siddesh Kumar. I've done my MBBS from Smolensk State Medical University, Smolensk, Russia. And then I got 175. And I think I've been with AFMG since January 2021. But yeah, this was my first attempt. So yeah, thankfully I passed.
Great, great. So we are glad that AFMG could help you out in just your journey throughout.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you, Dr. Siddesh, should be, what was your approach when you began your preparations? First of all, when did you begin your preparations for FMG as such?
Yeah, so basically when I came to Delhi in January 2021, so AFMG was the only class, that was having offline classes at that time. So for me, that time it was a no-brainer to just join AFMG. But then I was there for, just 3 months because I had my remaining 5 months ka course left in Russia. So for me at that point was, just observing what people are doing around, because, you're so new to this atmosphere and environment. Delhi is a new place and these coaching systems is a new place. So for me, my first 3 months, more than learning or studying or doing anything else, was getting used to it and observing who is studying from where, or if obviously my seniors are also there, so continuously even they were always guiding me. So I was basically just observing and soaking in as much as I could during that time. And yeah, so that was very beneficial for me. And then then I went to Russia for like 4 months, and in that 4 months I don't think I've ever touched my book, even though I took all my notes. Like I took my biochemistry notes, I took my ophtha notes, my ENT note, but I never ever touched them even once. So that time when I came back again in July, so I realized even though I've done 4-5 subjects very well, during that period, but I don't remember anything because I've never really revised. So for me, I feel the most important thing in this entire process is revision. I think the most important thing, whatever you study, you have to revise it within that period of time. So whatever I feel I studied, these subjects of the biochem, ENT, pharma, these subjects were basically, when I came back in July, there was like, I was reading it for the first time. So yeah, so I think revision is a key for me. So I learned this when I couldn't recollect. So whatever I was ever learning, I used to make sure, even though I'm not learning something new and I'm slacking behind my group mates or classmates, I used to make sure I take that extra time and I revise first rather than starting something new. So I think that is what helped me the most.
Great, great, great. So with this, I can derive the thing that you have actually started the preparations in the first phase itself. Mostly, I feel the foundation batch definitely seems to useful for the people to at least get used to the process of starting your preparations with. So that's a new thing that I have got to know. So I would really appreciate that. So now I would like to ask you, what was the role of AFMG in your preparations altogether?
Yeah, so basically what I feel, when we come into this environment or atmosphere of studying, because I feel in last 4 or 5 years, I've never really studied anything. So for me to it's very, you must be thinking, it's easy to, switch on a video and start studying, but it is not actually like that, because we've actually not studied for the last 4-5 years, means efficiently. So, when you join classes or, AFMG, for example, So I feel it's more like, you get a direction कि तुम्हें ये पढ़ना है, इसको ऐसे पढ़ना है. So which we don't know basically. So what really happens is, there are so many routes to take and you actually don't know which one to take. You can go for, prep, marrow, or any, so many routes are there. You don't know which route to take, and even if you take the route, you don't know how to walk on it. So I feel, AFMG, or for me it was AFMG. I don't know for others what coaching is, but I feel coaching institute in particular, they tell you ki how to approach and why to study this point and why to skip something. So in that perspective, I think it's very important. And there were many times, when I used to perform like not very well up to the mark. I remember I skipped one of the exams, and the next day itself, my sir was standing down and he was like, why didn't you give the exam? So at that point, I realized, someone is at least keeping a track, ki what I'm doing. So since then, I never ever skipped a single exam or anything, and I was always honest, yeah, I should, do this. So yeah, that way.
Right. I feel that's the most important things. Like there should be someone to guide you throughout, because
Yeah,
like there's a very short span of time and you need to cover a vast syllabus of 19 subjects altogether. So there's always should be some guiding light, and a person like Mahesh ji, if is with you to keep a track on your progress, definitely that helps you even better. So now I would like you to just throw some light on the fact that we just hear that solving MCQs is an integral part of our preparations.
mhm.
So how important was it for you, and how regularly you give like you give your test or solve MCQs?
Yeah, what I feel everyone has a different strength and weakness. So some people I know who don't know to solve MCQs, or some people I know who are very, very good at solving MCQs. So that you have to find a middle ground in between that. So that obviously comes with only practice. So you wouldn't know if you are good or bad at something if you don't ever do it. So in Russia, for example, we don't actually ever, we never actually do MCQs or anything that much. So for you to start from somewhere, you have to start. So so basically you have to, try, judging yourself or try challenging yourself. If today I did 50, but at the same time, when I observe one thing, people used to keep solving MCQs anywhere and at any time. So I don't think that really helps you a lot, because I remember I was in the rickshaw or something, and I solved somewhere around 60, 70 MCQs. And the next day, after 3 or 4 days, when I started doing those MCQs again, I had no recall memory of it at all. So I think unless and until there's a book in front of you, or there is your pen, or anything, you shouldn't do MCQ. You should, I've seen people, only because of everybody keeps saying कि दिन का
Right.
50 करना है, दिन का 100 करना है. उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि you're having food that time, you're solving
True.
MCQs, you're in the washroom that time, you're solving. That is not how, you should be solving 50
True.
MCQs.
True. True.
50 MCQs means you should sit in a study table or wherever you are. And that time you sit and you do 50 MCQs, you mark those MCQs, you write them down, you see what you did, or etc., however you want to do. So yeah, I think you have to solve those MCQs more efficiently,
Right.
quality
So
or quantity maybe, yeah.
yeah. So a very important you have the point that you have mentioned right now, that quality matters more than the quantity. So maybe you're solving less number of MCQs, that's fine, but analyzing them, analyzing your mistakes, and those you should not repeat, that's the most important thing, right? Like most of them like just go after solving much
Yeah,
number of
because it
MCQs.
actually
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, because I lived in Gautam Nagar, so you can see everyone around you is studying or doing something. So whenever I used to see people used to almost get hit by scooters and all while solving MCQs, and I used to be like, why are you doing it? At least when you're walking or having chai, at least enjoy that thing for the
True.
5-10 minutes that you take that break. And at the end of the day, you are never going to recall what while eating food, for example, you're never going to recall ki, okay, I ate this paneer ka piece that time, I saw this MCQ. So that's never going to happen ever. So either you sit in your classroom or anywhere, wherever you study. So I think you
Right.
have to have quality while doing it. So
Definitely, like efficiency should be your aim mainly, rather than just not focusing on the quantity. That matters the most. Great. So now I would like to ask you one more important question, and that is regarding your revisions. What was your revision plan, and how did AFMG revision plans help you in it? Because we have many sessions, many programs, like the chanting sessions, rapid revision, test and discussion by faculties, QRS, image-based sessions. Like, how did you use these in your revision plan?
So basically, first, with all, from what people are saying, my seniors especially, they were like, कि November तक हो जाना चाहिए portion. अगर exam 12th December होगा तो November the 12th you should be done like studying and you should start your revision, 1 month before. Many of them were saying, and whatever they were saying was obviously true. But then I don't know in between where I got lazy or whatever. But at the end of it, I had like around 20 days, excluding the revision period of 1 month. I had like 20 days and I had like around 8 subjects that I had to do. So 8 subjects, as in I had to like revise and do again, because I used to take more time for a single subject with the revision and all. So like that, I had piled up 8 subjects. So I was really into, I didn't know what to do basically. So at that time, that time people used to take shortcut, like, just watch chanting or just do the revision.
True.
But I don't think it is like that, because first you have to study and then, do the chanting. So I
Right.
remember like when you took pathoka chanting, so that time I was in the class because I had done pathology. So that is why I sat in the class and I could like, recollect everything so well, and I had to no problem in revising at all. Then I
True.
remember you took surgeries. So surgery I hadn't done. So I knew if I go and sit in this chanting, it is not going to be beneficial for me. But at the same time, I remember Afta was there uploaded on the YouTube. So I remember Afta I have to do. So I really remember this. I think it was around, I had just 1 day for Afta revision and I had not done it efficiently. So I was thinking, what should I do? What should I do? So I just opened my notes and I put your chanting in, 1.5x ka speed. And then that day, what I watched, so, I till date, I remember everything, from retinoblastoma, whatever came in the exam, leukocoria, whatever. I remember everything, whatever you said that day. So yeah, so I realized, if I already have the notes and if I have done something very efficiently, only then chanting is important. Obviously, it is
Definitely.
very important if you have studied. So I would say, or I would suggest, people, if you have not done something and then you rely on chanting, like how we saw, it was a very big trend in Gautam Nagar.
Right.
People were going on seeing, they were chanting PDFs, everything, but without studying, you cannot do chanting. And
Right.
yeah, and if you study and you do chanting, then you don't need anything else, I feel. So
Right.
so you should be smart with your approach. And yeah, last 10-20 days when I was done with my portion, and then there was this QRS sessions, and I think I actually
Yeah.
had a lot of fun, in that QRS session, more than getting depressed or scared. Arey, ye mujhe nahi aata, ye mujhe. I actually had a really good time in the class, because after a month or so, I was coming back to the class. I was with people around, and whenever anything was happening, whoever was teaching, when you were there, I remember whatever you taught in Ofta, PSM, I knew everything, whatever was going on. So, it was an ego boost or whatever. It was basically, it was like,
Definitely.
yeah, okay, fine, mujhe aata hai exam ke pehle, and I can go with full
Right.
confidence. So, yeah.
Definitely, you have mentioned like two most important points. The first thing being, people still ask me like, "Sir, is chanting an alternative for the main like the subject?" So as I've always reiterated the fact in class before I start any chanting for any particular subject, like your notes should be your primary source. You should revise from your notes always, and then chanting sessions will always be helpful for your revision purposes. This I've always and always reiterated to everyone who ever messages me. So that's the most important thing. Once again, you have come up with this. So like definitely I hope people consider this as important. And the second thing that you really important, like the most important thing that you mentioned in the QRS, rather like getting depressed, rather it imparts a confidence on you if you have actually studied all those subjects previously. But if something new appears, definitely that is going to lower down your confidence at that point of time. So it's better to cover all your subjects when you have enough time in hand,
Yeah,
right?
because what actually happened with me just before the QRS, I think QRS was 8 days before our exam or the last week.
Yeah.
I don't remember the dates. So I remember very well, 10 days before I had given a GT on Unacademy or something, and all my friends are given. So before starting the GT, only I had just seen the ranking order, and also one of my very close friend, he was like on top 10, and and everyone was there, whomever I knew. So I was like, ठीक है, इनको सब मिला है तो मेरा भी हो जाएगा करके. So I
Mhm.
just, out from that 10, on the 10th day, I gave this GT, and I think I got around 112 or something, and I was so depressed for like 3 days. And I actually couldn't study more, because whenever I was studying and I was like, okay, fine, this guy is there next to me, and we have actually gone to
Right.
the same class, same university, everything. He got 30-40 odd marks more than me. So i
Yeah.
i was basically trying to understand what went wrong. And so basically those 2-3 days was very sad for me. So the QRS session came, and then when I knew most 90% of the answers, so then I was like, ठीक है, हो जाएगा, हो सकता है. So for me, in that perspective, it helped me a lot. So yeah.
Right. Right. So that's the most important thing people need to just realize. Now, Dr. Sadesh, I would like to ask you. Everybody have told me about the last 10 to 15 days, but more important, being like, as you have already spoken about the last 10 to 15 days, I would like to ask you even more important question, and that is about the exam day. How
Mhm.
did you manage yourself on the exam day? Because half of the people actually get too anxious on the exam day and make mistakes all around. So I would like to ask your approach on the exam day.
So I think exam day was normal, like how I always used to wake up, because I had the same roommates for the last 3 years or something. So always the one who woke up first. I was the last one, like always. So I woke up last. Everyone was like, "Jaldi kar, jaldi kar." So I was that jaldi guy. So for me, it was always, how I always wake up. So yeah. So when I went to the examination hall, praying, obviously you have to, like, I prayed a lot. So then yeah, so then I took, like, I took some time off to pray, and then I was there. And then my first three questions itself were all some physiological question, this HCO3 CO2 wala, and then some,
Yeah.
all this, and some one liner from PSM which no one has heard about. And these were my first three questions. And then I don't know, at that point I just started laughing, and I was like, कि आज अगर निकलेंगे या नहीं निकलेंगे. So I was like, कि whatever it is, कि after these three questions, I have nothing to lose, because for those
Right.
three questions I must have taken at least 5 minutes. And I was just thinking to myself, कि क्या होने वाला है करके. And then I was seeing around बाजू में and all, बाजू में whoever was there, like the answer that I knew he was doing wrong. So I knew I cannot see left me also. So I knew कि whatever is there, ki today to whatever it is. So I went, next 5 minutes I had an attitude ki, I was more confident rather than scared. So
Right.
because I, already, the nuclear bomb had fallen, ki, this is how the paper is going to be. So yeah, paper was full of biochemistry. I feel whatever subject you leave, you see those questions more. I don't know why. So if someone will come and ask me how many pedia questions you saw, I'll say 40 aram se. So I don't know why it is like that. So yeah, I
Right.
remember after coming, from first paper, you were also there. So I spoke to
Yeah.
you also briefly, ये पूरा ऐसा अलग ही आया पेपर, बहुत अजीब है. So even for second paper, I was like, कि ऐसे ही कुछ होने वाला, but then apparently it was comparatively easier. So it was smoother, I think. But yeah, I think most important thing during examination is to trust yourself. More than anything, don't be anxious. I never thought, before, while attempting the MCQs, I never thought कि अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो मैं pass नहीं होऊंगा. Like that thought didn't cross. So all the time I was like, कि how to keep going to the next question. And yeah, I think once you, and it's not because I gave some 10-20 GTs or something. I must have given around 4 GTs max to max. So I don't know. At that point, I was just calm rather than anxious, because if you're, I feel if you're scared, you tend to make more mistakes, obviously. So why to be that? And you have, at the end of the day, nothing to, you don't have negative marking, so
True.
you have to mark the answers whatever it is. So yeah, like you also came and told me
Definitely.
कि पेपर 2 में हर तीसरा क्वेश्चन मेडिसिन का होने वाला, तो डरना मत करके. Then for second paper already was like, already first paper इतना ऐसा, like it was like a war. So what more could be worse in second paper? So yeah, I think yeah.
True. So, like the most important thing that favored you was your patience, because, like, though the first three questions you did not know, you like stayed calm and composed, and that's the most important thing. People tend to get anxious and then like even make mistakes in the questions they know. So that's the most important thing that you have mentioned already. And also, you did not lose your confidence in the paper too. You were like hoping for the better one at least and ready for the worst one. So in both case scenarios, you would have made it through that, I know for sure. So now coming to our last question for today, is Dr. Siddesh, what advice would you like to give to all the upcoming FMG aspirants out there?
I think the main advice from my side, because I'm not someone great or something, who did something, out of the hat or something impossible. I think I'm a normal person, but I think I approach things in a easy or a simple way because, I'd already made a mistake, like when I came in January, I was studying like from PG ka thing and all, and I think all of that is like unnecessary basically. So you have to just keep it as simple as possible, keep realistic targets, to be honest. People think
Right.
yeah, aaj main 10 घंटा बैठ लूंगा या आज 2 से MCQ. Just be, before you start something, because this is actually something new for us. No one has ever prepared for a competitive exam. Like we had NEET UG and I failed miserably in NEET UG. So obviously there is something that I don't know about these exams. So for me,
True.
it was, right from the scratch, so I think, firstly you should try to understand yourself, like for example, I can study better at night rather than in the morning. So first try, only because your roommate wakes up in the morning and studies doesn't mean even you would be more efficient. Only
Right.
because your roommate or anyone, okay, only because your roommate studies for 2 hours and gets more marks doesn't mean that topic needs only 2 hours. It might need even 5 hours. So yeah, before you start, I think you should try to know yourself and understand yourself better. And I think once you do that, everything is only simple. So I think you have to just understand yourself and keep it as simple as possible, and not do something fancy or something, something you've never ever done. For example, I don't know if you have, if you are not the person who just writes and studies, and for you it is more simpler to see images or whatever. So do what you've been doing, only because someone is saying कि नहीं हर चीज लिखने आ तो ही recall होता है, memory बढ़ता है. Do what you are comfortable with. So yeah, I think just know yourself first and then you will be more ahead.
A very important thing that you have mentioned, Dr. Siddesh, and I would like to reiterate the fact that know your individual strengths and weaknesses. That's the most important thing. Don't try to imitate anybody.
Yeah,
Nobody is the same. Nobody is standing on the same platform as yours. That's the most important thing. You need to recognize yourself first and then plan accordingly. What is going to be your plan of action? That's most important. Along with that, you also mentioned a very important fact, though many of us keep messaging me, and I hope most of the students see this interview because this has been a great interview. You mentioned a very important fact that like only following PG notes is not going to take you through. It's setting realistic targets for yourself, like what can be achieved and what is actually needed and required.
yeah,
So
exactly.
like definitely like the
what i
FMG,
feel
yeah,
what I feel like what I feel is, we are in a constant comparison, everywhere around. Even if you
true,
are in Russia, you are like कि इंडिया में ये लोग ये बुक से पढ़ रहे हैं, इंडिया में ये लोग वो कर रहे हैं. Even your,
right,
when I came back also, even my batchmates were there with me in my class, and they're like, we thought did this, we thought did that, we have Maro ka plan C, this plan, that plan, इससे ही आता है. And all that के बीच में से, you have to like go some through. I won't say कि this easy or something. You have to just keep all that our side man, and then you have
yeah,
to, more importantly, just keep it simple, because the exam is, I found the exam tough, moderate to tough. I wouldn't say it is
yeah,
was easy to moderate. It was moderate to tough for me. And what I realized is the answers that I could answer were the ones were the easy one. The ones that were hard though will be there only. Out of 300 questions, 60 70 questions, even you might find
right.
it difficult to answer. So it is going to be hard. So there's no point in studying for those hard questions. So those one liners are there, those images are there. Do those, do the common ones, common topics. Don't leave any common topics, and keep it just simple and easy, as much as simple as you can. So yeah.
Right, right. So definitely, like we are glad that you have mentioned this fact that at least just set your targets for the things which are achievable, not for the fancy things. Like at least don't make mistakes in the common topics that you have gone through, and that's the most important thing, right? So thank you so much. I had amazing time interviewing you right now. So we are very grateful to have you over and very thankful to you for like answering all the questions wonderfully that usually students have before beginning their preparations. And we would once again like to congratulate you on your success, also convey the same to your family, and
Thank
we
you.
wish you all the luck in all
Thank
your
you.
future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you, sir.